All right. Hey, everybody. Sorry for being a few minutes late. I have actually never scheduled a YouTube Live before. So apologies. It's great to see some people in the room already. Hope you guys are doing well. Um, Again, my name is Tim Fullerton. I was in the Obama administration for 5 years. I was on his first campaign in 2008. So I'm uh, no stranger to elections, national political elections, and uh, I'm also one of the white dudes for Harris organizers. So I thought we would try this on my channel, which has been growing a lot, which I really appreciate. So let's dive into the questions. Oh, Tony's got a podcast tonight. I didn't mean to be beating up with it, bumping up with him. But anyways, okay. Well, let's see. The first person says turnout looks good for Dems. I think the answer to that is absolutely. We have seen all of the enthusiasm and all the excitement have been on the side of Kamala Harris, in particular, since the Puerto Rico or the excuse me, the Trump rally where those horrible comments about Puerto Rico were made. It happened pretty much at the perfect time for Democrats. A lot of undecideds were just about to decide, and then that was sort of one thing they heard because it really broke through. And she's been capitalizing on it. It looks like undecideds are breaking 2-1 in her favor. Really great stuff. So I am feeling pretty good right now. I mean, as good as you can be 2 days before, but we still have a lot of work to do. There are still undecided voters. There are still doors to knock and phone calls to be made. So I'm hoping that everybody is staying active for the next 48 hours. All right, let's see. Um, Cool Aunt says, anyone stressing about Tuesday? I mean, we all should be stressing. If you are not stressing, that would be strange. So it's perfectly normal in any campaign. I mean, in 2008, which was pretty clear that Obama was going to win before Election Day, my nerves were super high on Election Day because you just don't know until the votes start. Polls could be wrong. Like, there's all kinds of things that could happen. So we all should be a little stressed. We should channel that energy, though, into continuing to do the work to make sure we get every single person out to vote. Let's see. Could we flip Iowa, Texas, North Carolina, Florida? There are yeses and nos in there, Cynthia. Um, that the Iowa thing came up because obviously there was that Ann Seltzer poll yesterday that showed Kamala Harris up 3, which was shocking, right? Trump won it by 8 in 2020, and he won it by 9 in 2016 after Obama won it twice. So to be up 3 when there were polls that showed Trump up 15 in the summer is pretty remarkable. And Ann is one of the premier pollsters in the country. So, like, when she puts a poll out, she means it. This is not a push poll. This is not any sort of those Republican polls where they're flooding the zone to change the aggregate numbers and stuff. Like, she's legit. Do I think she's going to win or that she's going to win Iowa? Probably not. But she could get one of those congressional districts across the finish line if it's close. So that's the thing with all of these. Like, she may not win all these states that Cynthia mentioned, but um, the closer it gets, the more down ballot races we win. Colin Aldred in Texas is a perfect example. I don't think Kamala Harris is going to win Texas, but Colin Aldred has been running ahead of her. And if it's close, he could eke out because everybody hates Ted Cruz. Everybody. Republicans hate Ted Cruz. Democrats hate Ted Cruz. And Colin Aldred has run a great campaign, and he was a great congressman, and that would be monumental, and I think we've got a shot at it. North Carolina, I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win. We won it in 2008. And there are a lot of Puerto Ricans in North Carolina, and just like there are in Pennsylvania, and a lot of women voters also in North Carolina. Mark Robinson's the gubernatorial candidate for Republicans, and he completely melted down, is down like double digits. Also, the woman that wants to be the education head in North Carolina is a QAnon supporter. So Trump has nobody to lift him up there. So I think he's in a lot of trouble. Florida, I don't think we're going to win. But again, if it's closer than it was in 2020, we'll flip congressional seats. Maybe we can get Debbie, who's running against Rick Scott, across the finish line. It matters. So if you're in one of these states, even if Kamala doesn't win it, there's other races to win. All right, let's see. All right, I want to talk to Todd. Todd's a Republican. He's come in here. He's been respectful and he's been waiting. I think. And he said, interested to hear from you guys what your most important policy issues are. So, Todd, I will answer that. And I think there's a bunch. And I don't want to take up everybody's time, but you can keep asking me more as we go along. So, obviously, I care deeply about abortion. Um, and we're seeing pregnant women dying because they can't get the care that they need. Um, and so these strict abortion laws are causing women to die. It's also raising the infant mortality rate. Texas, it went up. It's like over 10% now. So that's a big one for me. But the economy, I'm a big believer that Democrats handle the economy better than Republicans. And when you look at the amount of jobs that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have created in their first term, it's one of the highest in history, 18 million, something like that. Donald Trump lost jobs in his term, and he is the only president to lose jobs in history in his first term. The other thing is, Vic, my buddy Vic's here, democracy is hugely important. Trump doesn't care about that. I also care about Donald Trump's tariffs and how damaging those would be to this country. Part of the reason that Iowa is close is because he screwed over the soybean farmers when he started that trade war with China. Um, I care about being able to form alliances globally. I care about Ukraine, and I care about climate change. Donald Trump just wants to drill, baby, drill, and he says that all these lies about domestic oil production. Well, I worked at the Interior Department for 5 years. That was when I was in the Obama administration. So there's a lot of drilling on public lands, and I could tell you right now, U.S. energy production has never been higher. So what is he going to do? But he has no plans for climate. So these are a bunch. I have more, but that's generally speaking the ones. Also, he announced the other day that he's going to take fluoride out of our drinking water, which I didn't realize he wanted to change his slogan to make America toothless again. But this is him listening to RFK, who is also a quack, and that scares me too. So that's some of them, but I'm happy to answer more if you have them. Vic, I love your enthusiasm. Vic is if you're on TikTok, you got to go follow Vic. He's a I can't do your voice, Vic, but he's a 56-year-old gun-owning white guy who just voted for, or if Kamala Harris thinks that he'll vote for her, he already did. So Vic Myers, old white guy, and you should subscribe to his YouTube channel too. Anyways, let's see. Oh man, I want Ted Cruz out so bad. Mystic. Oh man, I want him gone. Let's see. Tariffs will take. Yeah, I mean the thing about the tariffs, it's been interesting. Like the new tariffs he wants to put, it's like 20%, which just means the price of goods will go up 20%. Um, I didn't mention this, Todd, and this is another one that bothers me, and it's both an economic and a moral issue, is his plan for mass deportations of undocumented workers, which some people call illegal immigrants. And I want to answer that as well. Well, first of all, if we deported every undocumented worker in this country, the economy would collapse. Full stop. The reason for that is that undocumented workers pick at least 50% of our fruits and vegetables, if not more, and are in the kitchens of almost every restaurant that we have. So if you take all those people out, first of all, restaurants will close because restaurants already struggle to get workers right now. And so you take those guys and men and women out, those restaurants will close. It will also cause our fruits and vegetable prices to skyrocket. And that is a horrible idea too. Now, if someone's here illegally and they break the law, they should go. I have no problem with that. But I think what the better option here is to create a pathway to citizenship for them, so that they're here legally and they pay the full range of taxes, and that's a good idea. But the other thing is, if we deport, sorry, all of those, I think it's I don't know what the number is, millions of undocumented workers. Those workers have contributed, I think it's $85 billion a year to Medicare and Social Security. So we already have a shortfall in Medicare and Social Security. And right now it's looking like the bill is going to come due in the mid 2030s. This is a real problem. And this is a Democratic and Republican problem. But taking $85 billion a year out of that shortens that period by 6 years. There was a report, it was in the Washington Post, that Trump's policies, which included mass deportation, means that instead of the bill coming due in 11 years, the bill comes due in 6. And that could have potentially devastating impacts. So that's why, and also the final thing I'll say on undocumented workers, they commit crimes at about one-fourth the rate of a citizen. So this whole story about immigrants coming and causing crime rates to spike is just simply not true. New York City is a perfect example where I live. We've taken in about over 200,000 undocumented workers since, or immigrants that were bused from Texas. Our crime rate has dropped. It has not gone up. So that's another reason why I think that Kamala Harris's policies of passing that border bill, which Donald Trump killed, creating pathways to citizenship, uh, are the best, both from a moral perspective, but also from an economic perspective. So that's my shortest spiel. I hope that was helpful, Todd. And I'm happy to answer any of the questions. People from city of Buffalo had to sue to get fluoride back in the water. They went years without it because it was causing health issues. So the fluoride thing's a real problem. And let me talk about this for a second. So fluoride was put in the water in the 50s, and it not only greatly improved uh, uh, everyone's teeth, meaning the teeth weren't rotting out of your face anymore. Um, it also reduces disease because when you have decaying teeth, they get infected and they spread disease. It causes people to get sick, causes people to die. We have been using it for 70 years, and we know at that level, the levels that it's being used, it's safe. They want to take it out. And under the guise of make America healthy again, they're also against vaccines. They also believe that vaccines cause autism, which is 1000% false. I don't want these people in charge of our healthcare decisions. Um, so Todd, this was helpful. Your answers exactly match what mainstream conservatives understand to be the key Dem topic. Yeah, yeah. I think that's 100% right. Whether you agree or not is also fine. Um, but those are personally for me the most important ones. Um, Lily, you probably could have some of these people. I'm sure if you send a bus down, you could probably get some people to Southern Tier. By the way, I like the Southern Tier Brewery. I used to work for the state of New York for the previous governor. I was the chief digital officer, and we did a great state of New York beer competition in 2017 or 2018. I can't remember when it was. And the Southern Tier Brewery was one of the top ones, and really enjoyed their stuff. So I've never been. Oh, Minpin, hello, hello. So I asked some of my TikTok followers to come over here. I hope that's okay with you, YouTube folks. Well, Nick's one of my TikTok guys too. Um, but let's see. So we got 31 people on the call. And also, guys, if you haven't subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe as well. Um, and because I'm going to be doing a lot more on YouTube. I'm starting a podcast that is going to be announced this week. And a lot of it's going to live on YouTube. A lot of the clips and stuff. Uh, it will be called Politigood, and it is meant to be a podcast talking to good people about smart policies and politics and business. So, because I run my own digital marketing agency, I worked at WeWork for 5 years, so I've done politics and business. So, um, I got to get those subscription numbers up on YouTube because obviously I want to make money and I don't want to beg people for money for the podcast. So we will have memberships, but I'd rather YouTube be paying me for this than anybody else. Let's see. Oh, Lily, you're Lily from TikTok. Okay, cool. Awesome. 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 All right. Sorry, names are a little different here. So it's confusing and they're also a lot smaller. Okay, let's see. When will they call the race for Harris? Cynthia, I don't think it's going to be a long drawn out thing. I mean, it could be Wednesday, but it could be Tuesday too. It depends. There's a reliance on some states out west. Vic state of Colorado, which is going to be blue, but like they got to call these, and Nevada, obviously, Nevada and Arizona are the big ones. But if she wins Pennsylvania and North Carolina, it's over. Yeah, no, I'm glad everybody is being really respectful to Todd. And Todd, I appreciate you being uh, very respectful as well. We get some aggressive people, I'll call it, on TikTok. So let's see. Lily, thank you very much. The website will be launched. We're actually I think we're taping our promo tomorrow, which is why I shaved so I don't look so crazy. Whoa, John from Auckland? I used to have somebody on my team would go to New Zealand every once in a while. Isn't it? What time is it? Actually, you may be during the day. You're during the day, but I'm glad. I'm glad to have a Kiwi over here. Oh, it's 2 p.m. Sorry. Is that like 18 hours or something? Is that what it is? Well, I appreciate you being on here. This is really, really awesome. Hey, Bonnie, how are you? Todd is aggressively boring. Well, you're on a YouTube live about politics. I mean, does that say something about us? But anyways. Oh, I didn't even realize there was football talk in here. My fantasy team is actually doing pretty well. Oh yeah, I'm winning today. I'm actually doing okay. I've never won a fantasy championship in the 20 years 23, 24 years I've been doing this. I've come in second once, but my team's pretty good this year, so we'll see if I get anything out of it. Okay. Oh, Lily mentioned before about the immigration. Yeah, hotels will definitely close if they deported every undocumented worker. It would just be devastating across the board. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, Hal Sparks is doing a 24-hour. Okay, I was thinking. I've been thinking about doing. Sarah, I have applied for monetization. I actually just did it yesterday. I was I was waiting for so there's two things that you have to do for monetization. One, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, which I got a long time ago, which is great. Thank you, everybody. But you have to have 4,000 watch hours of video. That's actually pretty hard. And I'm not a video editor, so I'm just doing my spiel. And you've probably seen I post a lot of my TikTok ones, but sometimes I'll turn the camera around to give the better experience. And I finally got there this week. So then I applied. But then I had to apply for an AdSense account. That took a day. Then I da, 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 da. Anyways, hopefully in the next week I will be I will be fully monetized. I am on TikTok, which has actually been pretty awesome, I have to say. Cash so you can get over there is pretty cool, but I think the long-term play is YouTube. Well, all I can say, guys, I live in New York, but I'm a Patriots fan, so I can already hear everybody laughing on the chat because we are awful this year. And actually, we're in position to get the number one pick next year, which is basically all I'm rooting for this year. I did laugh at beating the Jets though, because well, one, they're our biggest rival, but two, Aaron Rodgers is just like such an idiot. Such an idiot. Oh, you're a Steelers fan, Cynthia. Oh man. You guys okay this year? You're okay this year, right? Think so? Okay. There's the laugh. I knew I was gonna get the Patriots laugh, but can't laugh at the Celtics though. That you can't do. And the Red Sox are over, so we can't talk about that. Let's see. What else we got, guys? Oh, we got 44 people on here. That's pretty cool. I have like almost 40,000 on TikTok, so I have to remember I'm at 2,500, I think here, or just under 2,500 here. I have to remember the numbers are going to be a little bit different. But by the way, I'm going to give Vic. I keep talking about him because I know him. He is in a Kamala Harris video. He's one of the white dudes for Harris as well, and he got featured in one of her videos the other day, which is pretty awesome. Oh, John, you think Iowa's going to go for Kamala, huh? I would love, love that to happen. Do you think that mass immigration to New York is a net benefit? At the Roosevelt Hotel alone, the city pays $75 million to Pakistan Airlines to house 3,000 people. They also give cash cards. I do. I think 40, there's like somebody said in here, I don't know if that number is 100% right, but I think New York's about 40% immigrants. So if you take 40% of the people out of the city, we'd be in a lot of trouble. And I don't know about that 75 million for 3,000 people thing. You have to understand also, Texas started dumping people without telling them, by the way, in New York last year. So we got put under enormous strain. So some of these things do cost a lot of money because we had to move quickly. Notice that we didn't kick anybody out. We went and tried to solve the problem and keep people here. We don't have the greatest mayor in the world, but by any stretch of the imagination, but we have tried to help as many people as possible. Whereas Texas just drops them off, which is awful. Um, we need confidence, John. I feel confident, as confident as I can be. I don't really like to make predictions after 2016, but um, I think we're in good shape. I think we're in good shape. I think we're going to win Pennsylvania. I think we're going to win Michigan. I think we're going to win Wisconsin. I think we're going to win North Carolina. Um, Georgia, maybe. Um, Nevada, Arizona. I think we're in a really good position, but we got to keep making phone calls. We got to keep knocking on doors. So if you can do things, um, please continue to do everything you can. Um, let's see. Yeah, cool. And I don't go to Times Square very often because as a New Yorker, I guess I don't know. That's the first time I've ever said that. It is very overwhelming, but it is a cool spot. Everyone's got to go once. Um, yeah. Yeah, John, I mean, I think that's the right approach. I mean, if anybody's overconfident, then you should not listen to them in on either direction. But I do think but I do think it is very telling that the Trump people have been lashing out at all these reports because they're scared and they know it's truth to it, which also then boosts my confidence some more. Where is the place to be in New York City on election night? Pretty much anywhere you want to go, is my guess. Maybe not Staten Island, and maybe not some parts of Queens. Um, but I'm like 46. I'm gonna be barely holding on to be able to watch until midnight. So I may be sitting here with a drink in hand and what well, we'll see. I don't actually like drinking on election night because I get too nervous. But if we win, then maybe something will get popped. But yeah, Tina, yeah, don't go to Staten Island. The very conservative Staten Island paper today endorsed Kamala Harris, which they rarely endorse Democrats, which is really interesting. And it just kind of shows how much all of New York hates Donald Trump because he's cheated and stolen from pretty much everybody in the city. I've talked to numerous people who were like, "Oh yeah, he didn't pay this contractor, he didn't because he just screws the little guy." Um, what channel or channels will you watch on TV? I'm old school, and people are probably gonna get mad at me, but like CNN is probably what I will watch. I don't I don't watch cable news actually. I don't watch MSNBC or Fox or clearly not Fox or News Nation or any of these things, um, except on election nights or big breaking news. So I kind of just go with the CNN one, but I may switch around. You know, but I like John King. He's fine. Um, it's a little simplistic with his maps and stuff. I wish he would like dive in a little bit more, but I'm probably also not the intended audience for that. Bonnie says, I've heard from a former Republican ad guy who's still in contact with some Republicans state that Trump has seen his campaign's internal pollings and he's losing. 100% believe that. 100%. Because I've seen other reports of that as well. And I think there was Tara Palmieri from Puck News the other night was talking about how the Trump campaign was in sweat mode and his campaign manager like just completely like unhinged went after her. And then they like wrote this insane memo that's about Iowa that said, no, our poll says we're up, but then they didn't show the poll. Um, I think they're super scared. And I think that's why he's like lashing out and saying crazy things like he said today. Like he wouldn't mind if someone was, it would be good if someone tried to assassinate him again, if they shot through the media on the way to him. Like, how does this win over any undecided voters? Like, it's just insane. Meanwhile, she's like all over the place. She was on SNL last night, which I don't think swings voters, but like, it was a good enthusiasm thing. And um, they're doing podcasts with specific people. She did one with this big medical podcast yesterday or today, talking about all the damage that RFK would do. Like they're hitting their niche audiences and like they're playing this very well. But Trump is just like talking about shooting the media, going after Liz Cheney. Like it's just it's just crazy. I don't I don't understand it because it's not a winning formula. Even if he were to say eke it out, Like, it wouldn't make any sense. Um, yeah, cool. I did see what he did with the microphone. I mean, do we want that guy in charge of the nuclear codes? Like, yeah. It's just crude, right? Yeah, John nailed it. It's crude. It's like, you're 78, bro. Like, what are you doing? Um, oh, Todd's got a good question. Since it seems to be a smart group, thank you. What would make Dems happy for us Republicans to do policy wise? That's a great question. I think the border bill. I mean, they were already doing it. Senator Langford from is he Nebraska or Oklahoma? I think he's Oklahoma. Very conservative guy. Worked with Joe Biden and Kamala and Democrats and Republicans, and they came up with a bill. There was a compromise bill, and would put 1,500 more border agents on the ground. It's a whole host of which, and the Border Patrol Union endorsed it. No liberal group at all. Um, so I think there's work to be done there. I think infrastructure is always a thing. I think most Republicans believe that climate change is a threat. I think there's things that can be done there from a business perspective. Um, but I think there's things. I think there's definitely things, and I think that um, yeah, immigration as a whole, I think is possible. But the border bill is the big one for me. And I think if that gets reintroduced and Kamala Harris is president, she will sign it. Like that's the thing when we talk about immigration. There will be 1,500 more Border Patrol agents on the ground, on the border, if Kamala Harris is president. I can't say the same for Donald Trump because I think he will go to the extreme and try to shove something down the Democrats' throats and there would be no go. But I think Mitch McConnell, who I do not like, would get a deal like that done. Um, let's see. So, do I think that Mike Johnson will? No, I think that. Sorry, I should read that all out. Do you think that Mike Johnson will be the speaker in January? Well, he would be for a day or two, I think. But I think Democrats are going to take control of the House. I don't know about the Senate. Maybe we hold it. I think at worst it's 49-51. And I think there's a lot that can get done in something like that. Yeah, Todd. Well, yeah, Todd. That was an interesting choice. I don't get it. I mean, I think the like overtly religious, like that whole thing where he's like he has a app with his daughter to make sure that she's not doing anything sexual or it's just like I don't know. And he doesn't seem to be very effective. I actually think the best one was Kevin McCarthy. Honestly, like that was I mean, I don't, again, like I'm on the other side, so I don't really think too highly of him, but I think he was the best one you had. Um Yeah, Kay Hudson. Yeah, there has to be some on women's issues as well. And I would say, from a Democratic perspective, I think we see Project 2025 as really scary, and it seems to us that that's what's driving the Republican Party is the Heritage Foundation, Project 2025, and then some of these other groups that have been created. There's no like I'm from Maine. We had Bill Cohen or William Cohen as a Republican senator for like 30 years. It was him and George Mitchell. For a state like Maine, we were a powerhouse. We had one Democrat and we had one Republican. And Bill Cohen was somebody, he's now 90 or something, and he endorsed Kamala. But like those types of, I would love to see those Republicans come back. And, people like, I'm going to forget, like a Chris Shays in Connecticut. He was he was Republican. Or like, uh, I mean, uh, Olympia Snow from Maine. Sorry, they've been gone for a while. So it's hard for me to remember. Um, yeah, I mean, Mike Johnson wants to get rid of the CHIPS Act. I mean, the CHIPS Act brought thousands of jobs to the United States, and those came from overseas. Like, there's a plant in Germany that closed and moved to the United States because of the CHIP Act. He wants to get rid of that. I don't understand. And he wants to get rid of ACA. Like, look, like it on the ACA stuff. Here's my take. I just want to see a Republican plan. Because actually, what's funny is the ACA is actually a Republican plan. It's essentially what Mitt Romney installed in Massachusetts. And it's something that the Heritage Foundation, back in the day before they went full MAGA, advocated for as well. Because it's like a marketplace. There's no single payer, there's no public option. It's a business friendly proposal that has requirements, right? Like you can't kick people off for pre-existing conditions and things like that. But like, I would just like to see a plan of what, and we could talk about it. I don't think the ACA is perfect. Now, I would prefer a public option because I think that would control costs. But I understand that people don't want that. But it's hard to have a policy discussion when you don't see any of the policies other than talking about a national abortion ban and kicking out every single undocumented. It's like, you know, um, and I do think, and I'd be curious what Todd thinks. I do think that if Trump loses, there is going to be a window in which I think we can get some things done together, and that the Republicans who haven't really come out publicly. I mean, Mitch McConnell has said he hates Donald Trump, thinks he's an idiot. And Lindsey Graham, that guy is so funny because he's such a fraud, but he doesn't like Donald Trump either, even though he's doing this song and dance. I think there's some options. I don't know how long the window will be, but it would be great to see if we could get some things done together and, stop this, like, each side is evil and wants the other side to die bullshit, which I don't feel. And Todd, I guarantee you don't feel. So, like, there's got to be something here. Let's see. All right, folks. What else we got? We have 46 people in here. This is pretty nice. Thank you all for being here. This has actually been really, I have to say, like, we're smaller, but like, this is a much more respectful and productive conversation than I think sometimes I have on the other app. I do have to call you. Well, Todd, I will say it is in the national abortion ban is in Project 2025. That's where we're getting that from. And I would say Mike Johnson would be supportive of national abortion ban. Now, Trump has said he's not. I think a lot of us don't believe him. But it is in Project 2025, a national abortion ban. It's also in there to get rid of no-fault divorce. So, like, there's some. Oh, also banning pornography is in Project 2025. A lot of people don't know that, but it is in there. I'm not saying Donald Trump would do that, but it is in Project 2025 to get rid of pornography. I mean, this is that religious right that I think, Todd, you were saying, or we would, as a Republican, prefer less of them to have power, which is, I really respect you for saying. But they're in charge right now, and that's the scary thing. But I think it's costing you guys over and over again. Lindsey Graham did propose a national abortion ban, Vic, you're right. But I think they're costing you. You have lost so many winnable races over the last, it's been 60 since 2018, like winnable races. And these people are like killing you guys. I mean, you even lost a seat in Alabama for 2 years. I mean, that guy was like a straight up, I don't want to say the word to get banned, but he's a P word, but also is a hard right evangelical Christian, and he lost to a Democrat. Trump lost in 2020, which, to be honest, during a crisis like COVID, if he had just risen to the moment and did the bare minimum, he would have beat Joe Biden by 10 points. I really believe that. I mean, it's like W with 9/11. Even though he didn't read the intel reports that Obama was trying to strike and then did, and then we went into Iraq. I'm just talking about the reaction right after 9/11, which probably saved him in 2004. That and bashing gay people, but sorry, I'm no fan of George W. Bush either. Sorry, Lily, what's the no chemotherapy for women in childbearing years? Is that a Project 2025 thing? So they just die needlessly? Anyways, yeah, that's crazy. Cynthia, I will say I don't know Todd. I don't know him. I I I'm gonna guess that there is a sliver of moderate Republicans who have become so disenfranchised with their party that they're not paying attention to the things that like the evangelical right are doing. I think that's a very possible thing. And I want to because Todd's been so great in here. I want to give him a little bit of space on that. I could be wrong, um, but yeah, Sarah, you're 100% right. Just the fact that Republicans wouldn't protect birth control should tell us everything we need to know about the direction the religious right is taking us. I know. Birth control, safe, effective. Like the devastation that would be wrought if that was banned. Also, they want to go after IVF. Like, why? These are people who want to have children. Now you don't want some people to have children. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Margaret Sanger. Nope. No need to bash Project 2025. Very few people of power are endorsing it. That I'm not sure I believe because one of the co-authors of Project 2025 was Trump's head of Office of Personnel Management, which is the person that hires all of the people in his administration. He will go back in the administration if Trump wins. So you're going to have people in high levels of a Trump administration who not only support Project 2025 but wrote it. You know, so like there's a difference between moderate Republicans not agreeing with Project 2025 and a segment of the religious right, extremist right, uh, who are trying to get the Project 2025 implemented when Donald Trump is elected. Doesn't mean it's all going to get in there, but like that is a roadmap that they put out, which by the way was so stupid of them to put out because we've just been hammering them over it left and right. But yeah, it's crazy. Okay, let's see. Guys, I think I may wrap because I have not eaten tonight and I'm going to be on lives tomorrow and Tuesday, and we are all stressed and we probably all need to stop staring at a screen for a little bit. So I'm going to probably bounce. Oh, Frank, I could talk to you about that point all day all day long. About Jesus the person and who is actually was conceived and all that. I'm with you, man. Anyways, so I'm going to go. Todd, thank you for being here. John, thank you for being with us from literally the other side of the world. I appreciate that. Vic, obviously, man, always a pleasure. Minpin, thank you. Have a wonderful evening. This was really great tonight, guys. And I will be back. I will please subscribe if you haven't already. I assume most of you have subscribed. But this was super awesome. We're gonna do this again. I really like it, and especially with the podcast, I'm still trying to figure out how exactly to like do lives and that and all the things. So, anyways, guys, have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk soon. Good night, guys.